Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody tonight? I don't know where our guests are yet. So I'm a bit late. Oh, here they are. Hello. Oh, I sent you the link too, Diana. Can you hear me?
I got no sound. Wait a sec. Let's see what this is.
Okay. Is it my problem?
Testing.
I hear you. Do you hear me? Hello?
I can see you. I can't hear you.
Okay, let me...
Hang on. Let's check.
Okay, they're hearing me up there.
Let's see.
Okay, it's got to be on your end because my mom's got it on her TV. Now, you can't hear a thing over. I'm saying.
3. Okay, so there's no sound coming through this.
Sound yet.
I see you, Rick.
I
see you, brother.
Yeah.
He's signing us.
That's so funny.
I
Okay,
hear
mute
you.
not on.
That's so
you
That's good. I can actually.
TV.
All right, hang on. Let me try. No, that's not going to cut it.
I gotta love this. Always the technical difficulties.
All right. Hey, hang on. I'm going to kill this. Okay, so now we don't have a camera. I'm going to come right back, all right?
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. I'm going to try something else. I think I know what's going on.
Okay, so got a lot of technical difficulties. Hey, it is what it is, right, folks? Hopefully we'll get some people here soon. Well, he's doing that, getting right back. You know what? I will share this out and let people know. Hey, Joshua, can't you just send him a message? I probably could. Here, but he's got to fix something, obviously, anyways. Let me send all this stuff out, all the links and all that sort of stuff. Is he back yet? No. Okay, so. How are you tonight, Joshua? Oh, I don't even got my Discord open yet. I had to redo some things. Put a link out on Parlor. Okay, he's back.
All right.
I did. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. It's a little weird. I had to come in through my phone.
Okay.
Because my OBS didn't like meat, but we're here.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I'll have to work that out because I like this idea. I just, it's funny because this is how I did most of my work last year. I did a lot of Google Meet, so I'm used to it on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I also sent Diana a link, so you both could have come right in on both of your computers. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it, but.
Yeah, I just figured I'd want her close to me so she can squeeze my knee once in a while.
He wanted me right by his side tonight, Rick. I don't know.
I love my baby.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, how you doing?
I am doing good. You guys seem to do good, pretty good last night over on Pop's channel.
It was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Pops is an awesome promoter, so yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was fun. That was me. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what I. Okay, so everybody can see both of us. Timothy's in the chat, says, yo, Chris and Diana. He's asking me what's up. Well, we're here tonight to talk a little bit, maybe for a half an hour, about Clusterfudge. Chris and Diana's new book from Hero Shack.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because I was looking at the book today. We're going to be doing like the very last revision of it, textually.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to actually redraw the fight scene, which is in the video. And I don't mean redraw it as in posing and stuff. I'm going to re-render it. I'm going to re-ink it because I think the inks are a little thick. And so I'm getting really excited because one of the advantages of having it done ahead of time is I'm able to go back and look at it and like little things I want to tweak. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be able to do that
that's
now.
True, yeah, that's good. I did not know that, but that's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's. I'm going through a little bit of a weird thing right now, Rick.
Yeah.
Like I've just been drawing like nuts, like doing this crazy stuff, and so Clusterfudge 2 is going to be even sharper than what you guys have seen because now I'm like, okay, I have to go fix that. I have to go fix this. I'm just really excited, and we've added a bunch of perks.
Yeah.
My favorite one right now is the T-shirt. Because last night Dory recommended that we put it as a perk as well as an add-on. So I put it as a perk, and I'm very excited. Even though that's not the comic, it's comic related. So
yeah. Oh, let's see. You're in the chat saying hi to the chat too.
Yeah, and I see Rebellious Party or Pastry.
Hey, Rebellious, how are you? Let's see. Timothy's saying I heard there was fudge, but I don't see any fudge here. Is that a new logo? Sort of. For our Saturday show, I'm trying to put everybody's name unique, so a little image. I showed Chris his the other day. I think you can see that there on your screen.
I like it.
And I tried to do the whole Cyclopean thing there with the dot that you have with the hero shack in the middle.
Yes, I see that.
That's cool.
So I got to tell you, we had our first, speaking of Cyclopean briefly, I had my first response based on a 10-year-old boy reading it. And he liked pretty much everything except for the bug scene where the bug goes in the eye of Queen Sting. That was troubling to him, but that's kind of cool because I like putting in those shocking moments. I'm like, okay, as long as he's not walking away traumatized and it just kind of made him squirm a little, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you can't expect much different from maybe a 10-year-old. They get squirmy at stuff like, possibly at stuff like that, Even in, like Disney movies or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think that's good as long as you don't push it too hard because you want the kid to walk away thinking, wow, I remember that bug.
Yeah. It's a natural... walking that tightrope line.
And believe it or not, it was far worse than the original. My daughter, who is an art, scholar, if you will, she's expert, twice as talented as me, but she saw it and was like, this is body horror. You have to tone this down. So I did. I don't know the lines sometimes when it comes to art, and you get carried away, and all of a sudden your wife's going, you cannot use that. No. Clusterfudge, though. Clusterfudge 2.
Diana.
Hi.
Well, it's just us. I've got them on my Google Meets.
Yes.
Tonight, just so it'd be us. Well, I could invite other people if I wanted, but
Yeah.
Well.
But what was I gonna say about Clusterfudge? Oh. Just because you do have a very family-oriented audience, we should mention Clusterfudge is definitely a mature title.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is on the thumbnail, so that's the thing. And there is something that lies a question. I think when you were last time, when we had you on a few months ago, when you're promoting, Cyclopean, number 1.
Yes.
Or was it Cyclopean 2?
2.
Well, it was back in June, I know that.
Yep.
Because I went and got a lot of the information from that, just copied and pasted it. But, that way to have your Twitter and your website, which are great for people to go to. Right. And hello out there, Sketchbook. How are you doing? But with that, obviously, I believe you said you're Christian on that, and you're trying to do semi-Christian content?
Well, okay, so here's the thing with Clusterfudge, and I'm going to let a little cat out of the bag, mostly because I don't think many people realize it. But so the whole story is going to basically at the end tell about the grace of Christ.
Yeah.
And the buildup is so extreme. How can I put this? It's kind of like, have you ever heard of Insane Clown Posse?
I'm not sure, but this is what you're telling here. Sort of goes along with my question. My question was, how do you reconcile doing this darker story with, being a Christian?
Here we go. So, Insane Clown Posse for about, 10 years. We're doing these albums that were F this, F that, very grim and dark and, psychotic. And at the end of the 10 years, when they got to the end of the story they were telling, they told the story of Shangri-La and how their Lord was Jesus and how they tricked everybody and God loves them and they love him. It was one of those moments in my life where I was like, this is wicked cool. So in a sense, Clusterfudge is like that because my hope is to drag in all these people who otherwise wouldn't touch a Christian book. And then at the end where it climaxes and our hero is about to burn in hell, they're going to see the grace of Christ illustrated. Despite all the nudity and all the foul language and all the graphic violence that they've already seen. And the point that I want to make is, we get so caught up in this. Grace is powerful enough to cut through any of it.
Exactly.
And it's kind of cool because, the cat really hasn't been let out of the bag too much except for when I talk to you occasionally. And, I'm dying for it to, grow as a book because there's going to be 3 issues and it seems to be getting bigger every issue. I'm dying to see that response when it's written properly and, all of a sudden they're sitting there contemplating, would Jesus really forgive all this? Mm-hmm. And the truth is, the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So, let's rejoice.
Right.
Let's see. Timothy said something here that he said, where is it?
About it being intended?
Yeah, well, Chris, this show is intended for family-oriented entertainment, but that is not what its audience is.
Well, and that is the beauty of being followers of Christ. We're not perfect, and we can understand that.
Now, this is number 2. Unfortunately, never got to bring you on for number 1. Can you say what's gone on before for those that might not know? Or without giving too much away, because obviously you want them to pick up book 1 as well if they haven't.
So basically where we're at from start to beginning is Cluster was a government agent superhero. Most of his career was involved in what do they call that? Help me, honey. Covert, thank you, operations, where he would exhibit superpowers of all sorts because he was able to withstand various serums that the scientists from the government were creating. Where these serums would kill another person, Cluster had a natural healing ability, so the serum would take effect, and then he'd heal from it before it could kill him, and the power would last long enough so that he could do whatever the government sent him out to do. Mm-hmm. In light of this, when he finally retires, he loses his family, essentially, and that's a big jump over Reader's Digest, but he loses everything that he loves and decides he wants to kill himself, but this healing factor won't let him unless he drains himself of his power. And the only way he knows to do that is to do something heroic. He goes out into a riot looking for someone to kill because he thinks he'll just kill a bad guy and that'll do it. And instead he saves a little girl. Now this is where Clusterfudge 2 kicks in. In the process of saving the little girl, he becomes intertwined with her physically and spiritually. Mm-hmm.
Not in a sexual way.
Not in a sexual way, but in more like a connection that actually drags her into his personal hell, where there is a bookmark. You see, now we're getting into a whole other aspect of the story.
Yeah, make sure you don't give too much away.
Well, it's okay because this is in book 1 and it's actually quite open. But one of the unique things about Cluster is he carries a bookmark in him that was delivered by a cosmic being some years ago. And they come to collect it, but the bookmark is damaged due to the event that happened with the girl and has been divided. Mm-hmm. So Cluster, in his near-death spiritual position, is being held in place by a cosmic entity. A Grim Reaper comes and tries to get him into the afterlife, and there's a whole series of events there that will culminate in a trial of Cluster and his lifetime sinful nature.
Well, Rebellious Pastry says it's interesting how a pretty girl much saved his life. Well, I'm sure she's going to end up pretty, but she's like 10 years old, so yeah, I guess you could consider probably pretty, but
So
it's
Violet,
not really what you would. Yeah.
Violet is actually an interesting character. She comes from a family where the father is white, the mother is black. She is quite beautiful. She is 10 years old and rapidly aging due to the effect of her exposure to Cluster and his blood. Because in the course of saving her, both were wounded and blood was exchanged through contact, thus allowing some of this bizarre behavior to happen, this bizarre connection.
Almost like a blood not quite, but like a blood transfusion, thus part of his blood.
Enough of Cluster got,
creates
enough of his blood got into her to cause something to happen.
Yeah.
And the bookmarks have a lot to do with that as well.
Right.
And in that, I haven't even spoken of the Silver Scribe. However, he's in there, and if you read issue 1, he's the character that looks a lot like Silver Surfer, who I used to love drawing, so of course I had to have one. In issue 2, he actually gets clothing.
That's good.
In issue 1, he walks around naked, but the good news is he is like a Ken doll. He has nothing to be worried about in the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, he's just like the Surfer. He was very clean and smooth, and I keep doing this. You can't see what I'm doing, but yeah.
Okay, one sec. Okay, Pastry's saying I read her comment wrong. So let me reread it. It is interesting how a girl pretty much saved his life. I didn't read it wrong. There should have been a comma after girl.
So actually, that is true. And the ironic thing is,
she said girl pretty. And Sketchbook wants to know: is it a complete story in book 1?
No, but if you just read book 1, it does leave you with a conclusion. So to tell the story short, I ended it in a shocking manner, which even my editor said I should not have. I did it anyways as a creative decision. And after doing it, it was obvious that I had to finish the story. I have had the whole story, but I did Clusterfudge 1 thinking it might be a one-shot. Yeah. And that was as far as I was going to take it.
Well, you guys both read The Canadian Shield, #1. Now,
yes.
Sketchbook believes that's a complete story. Now, it's meant to obviously be ongoing. But, so would you say, that's what he means by a complete story?
So, yeah, if you read just 1, you will get from the beginning of his struggle all the way to the point where he is about to be put on the ambulance because he's just shot up to high heaven. He's a mess. And essentially, as far as we leave the reader, they think he's dead. And the shocking ending happens almost 2 weeks after Cluster's death. It isn't until issue 2 that you find out what we were really looking at when all of that went down. And it's not done in a way that you go, what? Now I feel ripped off. It's just left vague enough so that when it all comes together, you go, oh, now I get it. And I guess that was intentional, but it's also, to be honest, my original intention was to do all of it at once, and it just isn't happening that way. Yeah. Mostly because my editor is very much smarter than I am.
Which, if people don't know, that's the person sitting next to him.
Yes.
Hi.
What brought you to do Cluster? And
well,
how did you come about that name also?
So, first of all, do you want is the cover art anywhere near here? The cover art for Clusterfudge 2? The hand, or the one the hands on?
Well, I've got that easy enough.
Okay, well, I'll show you what led me to it.
That's part of my thumbnail.
Oh, yeah, no, not that one. Watch this. So, this drawing that I did for the new cover of Clusterfudge 1, which is available in the book, if you look closely, You can see like there's details in the shoulder of faces and in the chest and stuff. That's a style that I've drawn all my life, and I don't know why. I have several versions of something called heads that I've done probably 6 times, and it's that style of penciling with very fine cross hatching and stuff and blending. That style is actually born in Clusterfudge, but with ink, because if you look into the pages, let's see, this probably isn't the best way to show it, but like when you get into the artwork and into the deep details, particularly in number 1, if I can get it over there, there's all sorts of little stuff drawn in there. Wait a minute. Okay, I've almost got it. No, I swear I almost got it. Everything's reversed. That's why. But like all the details in here. Wait a minute. Where's my finger? Over here? Yeah. All the details over here are really, they tell another story. And if you follow it, you'll actually see him, the church where he got married, the church where he got upset when she died, and the church that he ultimately burnt down in his frustration and irrationality. But that's what inspired it. It was that weird style of art. And I wanted to be able to put that into a story. So, like reviewers have said, it's like a drug-infested dream in spots in here. And that's exactly what it feels like, because it's all surrealism and blended sequential.
I do also wasn't something that helped you come up with the idea too. I think I remember you saying it once upon a time. Is that people didn't think you could do a story like this in dark.
Yes. That was really the impetus of actually pushing it into a book form, because doing my Hero Shack stuff in the Cyclopean is wonderful, but people think, oh yeah, you're just doing kiddie books. Well, okay, yeah, I do kiddie books, and I love doing kiddie books, but there's many sides to me, and my wife is gracious enough to allow me the freedom to explore that in comics. So when I went to her and I said, I want to do this really psychedelic, crazy styled comic, she first went, you're insane, but then when she saw the art, she was like, okay, let's see where you go with this. And it ended up being something that she approved of, despite the fact that it's not my standard rated PG fare, you know?
Yeah. And Sketchbook corrects me. He says, okay, that's good so far. That's for you. And he says, to me, it isn't a complete story, Rick. It has a complete story in the Canadian Shield. He resolves some things most books don't. So he's definitely liking that with your books so far.
Honey, can you say that word for me that Tim...
Yes.
Because I messed it up.
Surrealism.
Surrealism. Yeah.
It's surrealism, not surrealism.
No,
that's me.
I think he's trying to make up a word. She-realism.
I think he's making fun of the way I pronounced it.
I'm just going to add, despite the graphic nature of the book, the underlying story, the overarch of the story is really good. It's like a good versus evil. Like, we all have stuff in ourselves that we battle, whether you believe in Jesus or not. It's there. So if you look at it from that point of view about this older superhero that's lived his life and has all the all this stuff that's happened to him, and all the bad stuff he's done. All the bad stuff he's done.
Yeah. I wanted to create a character that...
It is still a story of redemption.
Right.
It may not be for every Christian's cup of tea kind of thing, but it is definitely a story of redemption.
Well, like I said, I'm really hoping we get the crowd that would never, ever, ever, ever look at a Christian book to at least be a little shocked, surprised, and happy at the end of it.
Right.
Because by the end, my hope is that people will be rooting for Cluster, because they're going to realize in many ways he's a product of the environment that he was in. He took advantage of the technology, but he also was being taken advantage of. And that's something I think a lot of us find ourselves in life. For instance, I work in a school, and there are times when you see certain agendas being pushed, and you have to keep your mouth shut or you lose your job. Yeah. So I just sit there and I say a little prayer in my head, and I beg for forgiveness for not, getting fired. That's what it would do. It would get you fired if you stood up in the middle of a presentation with 500 little kids and said, Jesus says nay. Okay, well, you got to say that one time. Now you're out the door.
It's better to.
It's better to be that influencing breeze than the tornado sometimes.
Yeah.
Malice here says Tim's always making up words. So
Tim is a very qualified writer, so if he makes up a word, pay attention because it's going to be a good one.
And Sketchbook says, yes, he does, Melvin. I just read Melvin, and yes. I can confirm this. So with doing a darker tone book, has it taken any sort of toll on you?
Oh, yeah. So I'm actually excited.
And how do you deal with it?
Well, actually, it's good to ask because right now I'm in Cyclopean 3. So I've already dealt with it. But when I was in the process of doing it, I didn't deal with it. I became more jerky, which is a nice way of saying an a-hole. I got dark and depressed. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, I don't like doing it, but I do like doing the book in the sense that I like the product. It's going through the process of creating it. You have to put yourself in a dark spot to get the script out and get the art to reflect what you're trying to show. And here's the amazing thing. It's not even my best art yet. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I get dark. I'm trying to draw it. And then I go back and I'm like, I have to redraw this because I don't like it enough. So you go through that same stage building of, okay, he's done this, he's done that. Now I have to draw him doing this. Oh, and you get kind of feisty and and Diana comes in and says, honey, would you like a donut I bought from? Get away from me! And she's like, okay.
He's not like that.
No, it's not that bad, but it's kind of a dramatized.
It is definitely, that's a great question because from a spiritual standpoint, you know that if you surround yourself with lots of ungodly types of images and things and mindset, it drags you down. So when he writes the Clusterfudge stories, I pray that he just hurries and gets it done because he's not the most cheerful person. He gets really depressed. He starts focusing on all the atrocities in the world.
Oh yeah,
more so than normal. So yeah, it definitely does impact him and us.
Yeah, it does. And that's kind of a lesson for everybody interested because it really does speak to what you let into your heart, what you let into your mind and soul. And like I said, I'm on Cyclopean 3 right now. And I'm so happy. Like the last 2 weeks, I've just been, yay, life is good because I know where the story's going. And then when I go back to finish Clusterfudge 3, which should be Christmas, I'm counting on the spirit of Christmas to get me through that, so I don't get too, which is probably counterproductive because they say Christmas is the most depressing time of the year, but I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's different for every person. Sometimes it's the most joyful. Sometimes, if you've had bad Christmases in the past, it's bad, or if you've lost a loved one around that time, it can be. Hello, John. John Diller is here from Don't Jaws. He says, who's these people? This is Chris T and his wife. They are in the middle of a campaign over on Indiegogo called Clusterfudge number 2. Something else, as you said earlier, you didn't plan on doing a second one, and having been around on your channel quite a bit, it's turned into a trilogy now because of how much you've had to write. But after you're done with this trilogy, would you go and do something similar again that might be this dark, or do you?
I don't know. So I can tell you, even though I'm working on Cyclopean 3, behind my editor's back, I've started a little project on the side. My mind is always like, I'm always spitting out ideas. Mm-hmm. So this may become like the Streets of Animine, which I can't even pronounce. I did another project where I got 8 pages deep and just stopped. So you never know which one I'm going to start and go, I think I like this enough to finish it. But like, I don't think I'll go back to this dark, especially with my love of superheroes and the depths of which Cyclopean's character is going to go. I just laid out like the next plot line to Diana, and I think it went over really well. I don't know. Did you like the plot line idea?
The one you just told me?
Earlier tonight on the porch.
It's interesting.
So I still have to sell her on it. But, like, that's my point. I'm always coming up with new ideas.
Yeah.
I don't think Clusterfudge will be revisited, but I can tell you at the end of the trilogy, Violet will become part of the regular Hero Shack universe as a new character because she doesn't come out of this as a 10-year-old girl.
Right.
And she does come out of it with many special attributes.
And yes, John, Cyclopean is the one-eyed guy. They did this Cyclopean a couple months back. As he said, he's in the middle of doing number 3 for drawing it up and that for his campaign after Clusterfudge 2. Let's see.
I will tell you this, though, bro. My next book will not start with the letter C. Because I've found that Clusterfudge and Cyclopean are too close together. I do it all the time where I'm like, yeah, my new book site, Clusterfudge 2. Yes.
Let's see. Mallet says, yeah, we saw the dark side of Rick from the Canadian Shield number 1. And Timothy's response is, it says, you mean the tree throwing? You think you are so funny. Mallet says, the walking.
You guys are great, man. So this is like such a cool show because everybody here is like comic book tied. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Let's see. Sketchbook says, I think he's more responding to Tim. Says,
yes,
Tim, the book isn't bad. It has potential. There's some writing for applause. Both characters are good and interesting. You may have the ability to make 2 books from one story. Let's see. And now they're just combining names.
Actually, I kind of like that. There is going to be a counter Cyclopean, kind of like Bionic Man had a counter evil that was very similar. And I was thinking along the lines of Mechagodzilla having a Cyclopean version that would battle him. But I might steal Clusterclopean because that is so cool.
Yeah, it's just like Superman has Bizarro and all that.
Exactly. And it's kind of cool because what we're going into with Cyclopean 3 will actually deconstruct and reconstruct his origin, which has been the plan all along. As you know, Cyclopean is a baby alien dropped on Earth, more or less similar to, say, other characters. It's a common comic trope. But that is, in fact, going to peel apart, too. But it's all going to come together to where Clusterfudge will end, Violet will transfer into the actual universe of my comics, and her and Cyclopean actually have a history in the old Hero Shack comics that I did in 2019 and 2020, which is a whole nother story. I have a whole nother set of books I was doing.
Oh, and if anybody wants, if they can grab the link and put it in of my mods, put the link in the actual chat for everybody. It is in the description for everybody out there. But, just to make it easier, if one of my mods can do that. But we've talked of it, which is good. But, we've talked about a lot of behind the scenes. But we're going to go over to...
the good part. The actual campaign.
Yeah. Because that's what...
I can now. I had to get close because it's on my phone.
He doesn't have his glasses, guys. He's so funny. I can see it from you.
Okay, Sketch has, said 2 things. Mechaclopean. I guess a mechanized Cyclopean. And he wants to know, how does Cyclopean fight villains with no depth perception? Laugh out loud.
So it's a matter of adaptation. It is a weakness of his, but because he's always had one eye, he knows how to live like that.
Yeah, his physiology might be different than ours, where we need the 2 eyes for the good depth perception.
But one of the funny things about that, because I was asked that early on when I first started Cyclopean, is going to come in the fact that he can leap tall buildings in a single bound, but he doesn't always judge the distance correctly. And that's because he doesn't actually have depth perception. He kind of just, I know that building is about 300 feet high. Okay, I'll try.
No, you can't time Eagle out, Mallet, and thank you for putting that link in the description. Hopefully everything goes all right when we go over here. So, Clusterfudge 2, Clusters. Demise is inevitable, but a demise isn't always the end.
Yeah, so in Clusterfudge 2, basically his spirit, his soul, is trapped in between a body that's basically in a coma and the Grim Reaper who's ready to take him to wherever his final destination is. And the bookmark is in the way. So this whole second issue is a setup on how they get him into the afterlife. And, of course, when you go into the afterlife, there's somebody that you're going to have to face. That would be the Lord. And my dog is shedding. Sorry about that.
No problem. Dillard says if you do a Mecha Cyclopean, he will do the cover.
Ooh, I like that.
And John, you should get together with these guys and have them on. Gothic Arch is here, and he's asking what are Clusterfudge's powers. Earlier, when you were describing, they sound very similar to Wolverine's.
Well, similar, yeah, but he doesn't have claws. Basically, at this point, his strength has been rated at about able to lift 20 tons. That strength is distributed throughout his body, so he can leap high, he can run fast. In fact, he ran something like 95 miles an hour in a race in issue 1, somewhere around 95. It was speculated, so it's not an accurate thing somebody estimated. So he's super fast, but nobody in my universe is flash fast, so you have to keep that in mind. He has invincibility to an extent if he sees an attack coming, because his muscles tense up and it makes him, very durable. If he doesn't see the attack coming, he's basically a big lug. So that will play into attacks from the rear. His vulnerability. There are all sorts of little aspects to him that allow me as a writer to be able to weaken him up pretty quick when needed, but he has enough power to be able to plow through a wall if needed, or a villain, mountain. But he can't fly. He doesn't have like I-beams. And there is another power that I can't tell you about yet, but in issue 3, we start exploring it. We did see it in issue 2, but you probably weren't aware of it. But he has a secret power that is coming to the forefront.
Sketch. Mechacyclopean can't be in Cyclopean 2 because, Cyclopean 2 is already out and I have it.
Yes. I'm doing 3 now, so
maybe 5 or 6 or something like that. If he has
the big villain of the idea of the Mechacyclopean character won't start until probably issue 5 or 6. Because basically the storyline isn't going to allow for it to be any sooner. I can't say anything. That's all I can say, because issue 3 is full of surprises. Other than I will tell you that we have a new character coming in issue 3 that should surprise and entertain pretty well.
John says for me to stop telling him what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm making a nice suggestion.
So Fudge is a wonderful chocolatey delight. And the reason the book is called Clusterfudge has nothing to do with fudge. I wanted to call it Cluster F, and I'm obviously censoring for the show. And I thought that was just a little bit too brutal.
I didn't like it. I said, nope. That's not who we are.
Fudge was kind of cool in my mind. And the ironic thing is, once I announced it, my son and my family went, what an odd name.
Yeah.
But then after, I don't know, a month of hearing it, it kind of grew on everybody. So, yeah, we're using it.
And Mallet says the main question is, can he beat the Canadian Shield? And if so, how would he kill the Shield?
I actually don't think he could at this point. Maybe further down the road if he matures more. But right now, his power set, I don't think would match up well against the Shield.
And he doesn't like to kill. He doesn't like to kill.
No, he's actually quite...
He's a big love bug, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might beat it out, but I don't think they would kill each other because the Shield doesn't really want to kill either.
Right.
So.
Although it does set up the interesting thing, because eventually Cyclopean is going to face a Christian who tells him he can't be saved because he can't confess with his lips.
RJ, I saw that.
Yeah,
Timothy wants to go Melvin Clusterfudge crossover.
There you go.
I would love to see that. Except I love marmalade.
I know. No, Melvin.
But
Oh,
bodies keep.
I'm looking at marmalade and cluster fudge.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
Melvin could be cool.
Yes. Oh, do I have to dice?
No,
Poor
I
Chris
can't.
is getting confused. He's
Yes.
like, what? No. So RJ's there. And he told Marmalade that Clusterfudge is chocolate-covered peanut clusters.
Oh, I see that now.
Yes, you see that now?
And Melvin and Cluster Fudge could do
As
a crossover.
Yes.
That would be
That
very
would
cool.
be very cool.
There's lots of things. Mallet's saying, how would he handle the buckler? Well, I'm not even sure what Thing knows about what Chris knows about the buckler.
Well, the buckler is basically a street level hero, right? Does he have powers?
He has the strength of 3 men.
Cool.
And he can go like Super Saiyan type thing once he gets this amulet that's happening. I think in some book. I think the Polar Twilight, which is extra book that Dillert's putting with his campaign.
So if I remember the buckler's costume correctly, as long as the buckler didn't attack him, I think he would kind of like geek out and want to be his buddy. I think Cyclopean would want to chum up with him.
Yeah, he looks a lot like the Phantom.
Yes, I've
Except
seen
for
some
red.
artwork of him. Actually, through Cross Comics, you had some stuff on your Twitter some time ago about it.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful artwork. It's absolutely stunning.
I can see him and Cluster getting into a nice battle.
Yes, Cluster would enjoy it, but Cluster would need to charge up.
My dog is being.
Well, you're not holding her.
I know.
Cluster, it's all reliant on his chemical. Whatever they pump him up with is what his powers become. If you look at the cover of issue 2, he kind of looks hulked up compared to what he did in 1. Yeah. That's because at that time he's in a serum that's giving him like puffed up muscles that make him strong.
Hulk.
Right. Well, not like the Hulk, but similar in that sense. Yes, it puffs him up. Mm-hmm. The Hulk is one bad guy,
but he's not quite like that.
No, I'm saying he could not. No, he's not Hulk level strength at that point. He might be the strength of 3 men like that, but he's not Hulk level. And you see the Reaper there. He's involved in the story, but see the girl in purple on the left? That's ultimately what the little girl becomes. Now, she doesn't become that in issue 2. It's kind of a foreshadow for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's the final character coming out of this series.
Dillard says no one can beat the buckler because the buckler will take life without much hesitation. Somehow I think Cluster would too. For having
Cluster, Cluster is kind of a.
It's the dog, guys. It's not me.
That wasn't a dog. That was a phone.
She pushed it out of my hand.
Yeah, because she's tired of you.
Sorry.
No problem.
It's just me, Rick. It's just me.
Yeah, no problem.
Give me this. Oh, there we go. There we go. I have the baby now. I forgot what I was saying,
Does he use the phone to call the Canadian Shield? Does he? Oh, Xylo, I guess. I'm not sure what they're talking about. The chat is getting away from me a little bit. But that's good. That's good. That's good. Anyway.
Xylo has a special phone. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. What's it say here? The story in a nutshell. A retired government super agent loses his wife, his family, his mind, has his demons, lock him in a world of depressive decadence.
Yes.
Depressive what?
Depressive decadence.
Yes.
Tied to the mysterious bookmark, he lies in a coma, subject to insanity of a cosmic nightmare. All this so he could save a little girl named Violet, who finds herself entwined in this dark and gritty tale of destruction. How can anything good come from such a clusterfudge?
Yes. And this story will tell you how it can come from a clusterfudge. But yeah, that's kind of like the written elevator pitch, I guess. And now you're seeing the tears, of course.
Yeah. Well,
We have a nice $5 digital for anybody who wants to get involved.
How many for those that don't know, how many pages is the book?
50, I believe. This one's 50. The first one was 39 total. And the third one will probably be closer to 70. Because
are you sure you shouldn't be making it 4?
I'm taking the advice of management, and she told me go for 3, so I'm aiming for 3. But
yeah, but that was because of the pages that you're saying. But with 70 pages, that's almost bordering on being able to split in 2. I would say anyway.
Yeah.
It won't be 70. It'll be closer to maybe 55, 60, I think.
It depends on what she can cleave it down to.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I look forward to releasing a hardcover of the whole thing.
Right.
But that's long down the road. We'll see how this sells. That's an investment, and I don't know if we're going to go all that way.
Yeah. Well, again, you just you do it. You could maybe in your next campaign for Clusterfudge 3, you can have the option of buying 3 by itself.
Yeah.
Or put all 3 in a hardback thing, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's probably what we'll do. It's just
we haven't gotten through Clusterfudge 2 though yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not there, but yes, I agree. It will be something to that effect. We'll offer all 3 books.
I'm always dreaming ahead.
Yeah, you can offer them as floppies, all 3 books as floppies, or in one thing.
Right.
And at that point, we will have all 3 available, and then I can offer the massive hardcover thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about.
It'll be a really classy little miniseries. Yeah,
the Clusterfudge collection.
So
with its own fudge, maybe we'll ship fudge with it.
We could order some special fudge.
Yeah, we'll do special fudge with it or something.
With a special wrapper.
With a special wrapper. I don't know, guys.
Yeah. You find somebody local to you that makes fudge.
Yep.
We could absolutely.
And maybe get them into make it in the shape of Cluster, one of its forms.
Yeah, or just pop his head in there with little eyes. I mean, it's not a hard...
Oh, my gosh, you guys are killing me.
Yeah, it's not a hard mold that was,
Well, I would like this current campaign to be successful.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then for Clusterfudge 3, I think those are great ideas. But we are focusing on Clusterfudge 2.
Because 3 is actually, to be honest... So Cyclopean should be launched on Kickstarter in November.
Yep.
And then, so you're looking at January or February before we release Clusterfudge 3.
Right. We won't do anything during the Christmas.
Well, I will, but we won't release anything.
Yeah. So anyways, the first one up is the Online Quickie, which is, I think you sent out a thing. You get Clusterfudge 1 and 2. For this
right, you won't see it. You won't see it directly in that description because it was already ordered, and they wouldn't let me
add to it,
edit it. But I have noted it. I believe in this content and in an update.
Well, you could do one of 2 things. You could hide this perk and duplicate it and just add that in.
Yep, we could do that.
So it shows that.
That's brilliant. That's what we'll do. That's how we'll fix it.
Yes, I know. I have to sit at my computer long enough to do that.
Rick, you're a genius.
You are a genius, Rick.
Well, I had to do it a couple times on my campaign, so that's how I know.
I had not thought of hiding it. I thought delete it, but you can't because it's already been claimed.
Hide it. And you.
Yep. So the claim still stands, but you have the revised.
And they'll still get Clusterfudge 1 as well.
Yes. Yeah. So we're putting 1 and 2 in that.
Yeah.
Basically because the $5 more or less helps us go on. It helps support the project.
Yeah.
But the PDFs for us, as you know, only cost us whatever it took to make them, which is, already there in the build for everything. Mm. So it's like I'd rather get 1 and 2 out and get you in understanding the full scope of the story than just giving you 2 and maybe leaving you hanging. Yeah. So that's the idea there.
Yeah.
And then of course up next is the physical.
Yeah. And that one will have the cover that you saw on the left right there at the left with the green cluster. And of course, you see the 2-page spread there, right, in the thumbnail.
Yeah, and that comes with an digital version as well.
Yeah. That
Yes.
would be Clusterfudge.
If you order something from us, we will be sending you a PDF
Yeah.
the night that the campaign closes, mostly so you don't have to wait for something. And then, of course, everything ships within a week or two after all the product comes in. And we're hoping there's no slowdowns. I've heard Marvel and DC claim that their books have been late because of paper shortages. We haven't had that problem, but hopefully it's not an industry-wide issue.
Okay, Dillard says, why does this duo talk so fast? I feel like I'm getting the double talk. I feel like I need to step away and have a break from this high pressure shift. I'm dizzy.
Which duo?
I'm sorry. We're
You
not
did.
We're just giving you information.
I do talk fast, though. I never stop talking, in fact.
He never stops talking. I'm sorry.
Dillard says I'm forcing him to back this book.
No.
Well, I promise you, Dillard, if you do back it, it'll be different. I hope that you'll love it. I hope that it's entertaining, but I can promise it'll be different than anything else you've read before, unless you've read Clusterfudge 1 already. Then it'll be similar to that.
Yeah.
So,
Does that make sense? Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Clusterfudge 2 with a variant, also with a variant cover, and you just get that one. And I guess you would get the online one as well with that.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course that is one of those ones that's available as an add-on if you're just getting number 2 or number 1, or if you're getting the regular number 2, you can still get the variant. But because other people have requested it, I went ahead and made it a individual perk as well.
Yeah.
And for those that might need to know this, how much is shipping, say, to the States?
In the States,
I think it's
$5,
and we do. Unfortunately, I think it's 20 for Canada because of the high right now.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and I think actually we lose a few bucks on that one, but
I won't go.
It all evens out by the time we're done. If we charge $5 to Joe Blow and Joe lives, $3.60 within the range, we just bump that into the next shipping.
With getting, Cyclopean 1 and 2 from you, I saw the price on the shipping this time around, and it was a little bit more than I was expecting for shipping from the States.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's outrageous, actually. I can't wait till the world calms down. Do you know, I'll tell you an unrelated story real quick. I ordered a bunch of stuff from China, and I was so excited. It was supposed to come in this week. And it got rejected and sent back, simply not allowed into our coast. So there is something happening in American ports, and the seller could not explain it. They said there was no explanation. The shipment was just sent back. So, I mean, it's getting harder to know what's happening with shipping. It's just a crazy time right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was upset. I was really looking forward to my package. But
we don't want to know about your package.
Yes, I know you don't. So that is drawn by Quibix. I just want to say he's a wonderful artist out of New England, and we've known him for about 2 years through conventions. And I asked him, I said, hey, you want to get in and draw a variant? And he was like, sure. So he sent me the black and white. I colored that, and I'm quite proud of it. I think it's cool little cover that I wouldn't have without Quibix.
Yeah. And then you've got your online quickie with a T-shirt. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And that's the T-shirt of the new cover for issue 1. A variant. We'll call it a variant cover.
Yeah, it really is. But the original issue 1 cover is going to be done. It's no longer in print. What we have left is what we have left. We're kind of saving those as prizes. Mm-hmm. But if at the end of this campaign they haven't been given away, you may find that in your bling box. We never know. You never know what we're going to pepper in there, but we are trying to clean out some of the old inventory. And so, there'll be surprises abound. I just don't want to commit to saying everybody's going to get a copy because we don't know how far they'll stretch.
Yeah. And you guys are printing these shirts yourselves too, right? Well,
yes, off our own press.
You're printing the image on them. You've got to go and buy the shirts, obviously.
No, we just have to print it. The shirt's kind of material. Yes, we have to buy the shirts. It's a magic press. We just and it's done.
God is good.
Yeah, it's a great press.
Sketchbook says to me, really, Rick? That was rude. This guy's selling his book, and you are making him seem back into jokes. For shame, laugh out loud.
Well, there is a joke somewhere there. I mean, you know.
Okay, so we got Down and Dirty. I haven't really been reading the
It's okay.
thing.
You've been
You
doing
don't
great.
have to.
Yeah.
Which is number one, Clusterfudge number 1 and 2, and that's number 1 with the new
Cover,
image
yes.
cover, which you see on the shirt, there, and an ongoing quickie. So that's an online quickie, and the digital version.
Well, you understand online quickie because it's there right after the campaign. It's quick. It's there. Not trying to justify it.
And that's not bad. That's $30. So, but basically $15 for each.
Yeah, plus so this is the hard part. We can't tell people to bling because we never know. But I always end up putting stuff in that Diana's like, "What are you doing? Don't do that."
No,
but then she
I
lets
don't say that. He just gets crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't give him like my game controllers or something.
You would.
Yeah, I would. Okay, so which one is he on now? Because I have
the retailer pack.
This is the retailer pack.
Yes.
We've had a couple people ask us.
So if we get 5 books for $60.
Yeah, so a little bit.
And there's a 10-pack somewhere in there too.
Yeah. So that's about what, $12 a piece for 5?
Yeah, in the pricing, there's like a breakdown of the savings.
Yeah.
I think that one is like 30% or something.
Yeah.
That one might be the 20%. I'm not sure because
it says 21 in the.
Yeah, that was the 20%er then. Lorenzo's package, I think, actually saves a little more.
Yeah, this is the Lorenzo pack. The Lorenzo perk, slowly becoming famous among all the ones.
We were on a show last night. I had to explain it, and it was funny because at first I didn't know who he meant, and then Pops goes, "Do you mean Lorenzo Sleestacky and Lorenzo?" Yep. Oh yeah, we know him. Yeah. Okay.
So for $75, you get 2 copies of Clusterfudge number 1, the new cover edition. You get two of Clusterfudge 2 regular cover and 2 of Clusterfudge 2 the variant.
Right.
So what that represents is exactly what Lorenzo asked me to put up. And every time we do a campaign, when Lorenzo tells me what he wants to order, that'll become the Lorenzo perk.
Well, Lorenzo is basically, give me double of everything, thank you.
Yeah, he is. So, I mean, I'm more than happy to accommodate. And, Lorenzo gets his own perk because we love him that deeply. He is probably the oldest friend to Hero Shack online that we've had.
Yeah.
Maybe Gary Henderson might be a little longer, but he's close to the originals. So it's like, Lorenzo, very special guy, and he will always have a perk with us.
Well, heck, like Lorenzo, when I was doing my Canadian Shield campaign and all that, he was wanting, the double thing. I'm like, okay, so like, what do I call this? Like, just like you, I'm trying to come up with some special name. And I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm calling it the Lorenzo.
Yep. And I mean, it should spread to everybody. I think everybody should put up a Lorenzo tier. They really should.
And to answer my sketchbook, Lorenzo has his own perk because Lorenzo's one of the kindest people we've met. He promotes everybody. He is
true.
Constantly sharing links, and he tweets about all different kinds of books. He's just an amazing guy, and
and if you talk to him, he's an encyclopedia of knowledge.
He's super bright. One day I pray that we'll actually get to meet him face to face. We'll see what God has in store for that. But that is why our friend Lorenzo has his own perk, and he's green, and one of our favorite colors.
Yes.
And of course, the 10-pack here for retailers, which is $100, so you get 10 of them. Plus, I guess
that brings it down to 10 each.
And I guess that's shipping included on top of that.
Yeah.
And then of course, number
the
1,
big deal,
$300. But with that, you get a lot. You get you get of course the digital version of 1 and 2. Both covers for Clusterfudge 2. The new Clusterfudge 1 physical with the new thing, the new whatchamacallit.
Cover.
New cover, yeah. You get the T-shirt. You get 11 by 17
The
original
original pencil art. Yeah.
And is that and that's that right? That
Yep.
Yeah.
11 by 17. So you get the original cover art.
Right.
Yes.
And
Now
so that's actually cheap for $300. You could
Yeah.
probably
Yes.
you could probably without all that other stuff, you could probably charge $300 just for that cover because of the
We've been
original.
told, but because I've never done traditional cells,
Yeah.
and this is our first one, I'm like, yeah, I don't mind.
Why
But
not?
if people like it and it becomes popular, of course, we'll charge more.
It's a baseline.
Yeah, it's just a start,
Yeah.
and we're very happy with it.
Well, I'm just saying this, well, A, because it's true, and B, because at this point, people know that they're, going to get something that's worth, that they know that, they're getting a steal, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of are in the sense
really
that
good deal.
every year my art gets better. So this being the first actual traditional original piece that I'm selling is potentially going to be a collector's item. Should this go, should I get bigger, which I assume I will, it'll be like the first one, it's like kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, girl. She's like licking me and sense. Yeah, you want her?
We just got home, and so she misses us. This is what she normally does.
She's our baby, and I know it's kind of disgusting seeing people treat a dog like a baby, but she's like a baby.
She's elderly. She's an old lady.
Oh, there's the spaceships. I love them. I don't do enough talking about the spaceship part of the book, but it does play a role, and I have to tell you, in issue 3, we have some very exciting stuff. If you watch the movie that's associated with the comic on Indiegogo, the video clip, at the end we kind of show the green ship there as it transforms into a battle bot of sorts, and I'm very excited because I've never done a Transformer style comic.
Having seen that and now looking at this from the top, I can start to see how it transforms.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it works. And I'm kind of excited just because, this is what Clusterfudge is. I've mixed together a whole bunch of different ideas. I might as well put in this too.
Cluster.
And it does make absolute sense the way it goes down, like in the story. So I'm very excited. I can't wait till we get to that. But that's in the next issue, so I shouldn't be talking about it. This issue, you get plenty of exposure to the ships, but nobody knows that it transforms yet. Except for the guys who watch the video.
And of course, they've got 26 more days left. They're doing a $500 flexible goal. They're at $195 in 8 backers. So this is something you guys want to get in on. Let's get them up to their thing. I've already gotten in on it myself.
Thank you, Rick.
I didn't get the deal that I wanted, but I'm hoping that in the next, as long as this is up, I can switch out my one to get maybe. I'm hoping to get both books, both physical copies.
We'll talk, bro. I want everybody to know though that we're not looking to gouge you. If you don't have money, don't worry about it. We're not here to make anybody feel guilty. But if you want to jump in, please do. The $5 option is always there, but I look forward to packing the pack. So if you want to get something cool, packing the packs.
So there are going to be 3 issues. Yeah, 3 issues to Sketchbook.
Yeah, and we have other stuff too that are going to be slipped in there that I'm excited about. I got to shut my mouth, don't I? In issue 1, we actually gave away pencils that are in issue 1. We had pencils made up that matched the pencil that Cluster writes his suicide note with.
Well, that is cool.
We'll send them out with these packs too, I'm sure, because I think we ordered like 500 of them.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. She's not going to tell me if we have any left. She's like, stop it.
You see what I'm saying? I just can't.
Yes, there will be 3 issues total in Clusterfudge. And then we will roll into Violet Vamp. I just gave away her name tonight. Anyways, it doesn't matter. She's going to have like I said, input into the new universe. And I think she may have her own series. To be honest, it all depends on how well my drawing women gets. Right now, I'm still, I don't want to feature a woman yet. I need to get even finer with my ladies. I think. I mean, I'm getting very good at drawing them, but
Yeah, I'll tell him if it looks ugly.
she tells me if a boob's
I
crooked
just
or if
tell
a
him,
butt's out of
if
line or...
If the anatomy on the woman looks awkward, I will tell him. I'm like, that's not, no.
Yeah, fix
You
that.
need to fix that. Or even on his male characters, I will definitely.
Oh, you heard about the cyclopean bulge, right?
Well, I think I
She
did.
made
But go
me
ahead,
think-
tell everybody about it.
She made me fix a bulge in his swimsuit section of his costume because she felt it wasn't realistic.
It wasn't.
So I had to fix the bulge in his
It's
pants.
ridiculous looking. It's like.
So I fixed it because my editor told me to, but that's exactly why I have an editor.
Timothy's like, watch out, Diana. He's tried to get finer with the ladies.
Oh, there's so many stories we could tell you. Like with the last convention we went, well, no, not the last one, Terrificon. When we went to that one, we went into a bar to eat. It was like a bar restaurant, and they had a riding bull there, the electric kind. And this woman's up there, and she's riding, and Diana's looking at me getting a little miffed. She's like, yeah, right, just check her out. And I'm like, honey, look at her ankles.
Seriously.
She's like, what? And I'm like, look at the way the calf muscle goes down to the ankle on
He
this
was
woman's legs.
analyzing her ankles.
And she was like, I thought you were looking at
Don't
something
worry.
completely different.
He's a guy. If he looks, it's like we've been together for so long. He's not that.
But she had fantastic ankles. Like they were just so cool when she would grip the ball.
But I didn't expect that. I'm looking at him like, her what? Her ankles, honey. Look at her ankles. I'm like, okay. But I'm not an artist, so I'm like, okay, that's good.
They were
It's
amazing,
reference
right?
material.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that beyond the bus and start looking at people's ears or something.
Right? It's like
Start
you
trying
look
to
at-
notice all different people's ears, how they
Yeah.
go or nose.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well,
No,
And I will tell her when I
I've
think
never had a
someone's-
wife to say, oh, look, you're looking at that lady.
Yeah. But I
But
tell
then
her,
again,
I'll be
you
like,
know,
honey,
saying-
look at that woman's face. It's like a triangle. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, look at the chin. It's like, stop that. Don't make fun. I'm not making fun of her. I'm telling you, if I was to draw her, I'd use a triangle on her head.
Yeah, I don't. We've been together so long that if he sees a pretty girl, it's cool. It's like whatever.
Well, she understands.
God has made beautiful people, right?
Yes.
The other thing
as long
about
as you're not
that
looking in
is-
lust.
But the other thing with that, he could have just been so amazing. She's staying on the bull all that time, too.
Right.
She actually was very good. She was better than the Stormtrooper boys.
She was a beautiful
boys.
young
Yeah.
woman, and she was super strong and athletic. It wasn't anything like that. But whenever I said, do you like her? Do you find her attractive? He goes, no, I'm looking at her. And he was totally telling the truth because it was such like you were doing what? Because look at her ankle. I'm like, okay. Anyway, let's move on from that.
Sketchbook says, I just got to read his last comment. He says, laugh out loud. He was checking her out in a Middle Eastern way. That woman has great ankles. Rick, we don't want to see that. See you on the news. Today in Hamilton, a man was arrested for stalking a woman on the train. Well,
Yeah,
it's
Rick, don't
right-
do that.
Just
First of
remind
all,
them
we don't have
her
a train
ankles.
here. Well, we do have trains in Canada, but it's the bus that I'm normally on, not a train. And I look at guys and girls for that stuff.
But men's ankles aren't as attractive. Trust me, I've seen them all.
True. You know, I mean, for all the different, like sort of anatomy, especially more facial.
Yep.
So we've gone over the campaign. We've asked a whole bunch of questions. Is there anybody out there in the chat that has some questions for these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're open to any questions. That sounded weird, didn't it?
Yeah. Don't talk.
She just told me not to talk, so.
This just in. Timothy says this just in Rick's both ways.
Oh my gosh, you guys are funny.
I don't think that's
So
what
yeah, so
Rick
check
meant.
it out. It's not your typical comic book. The PDFs are $5.
Well,
If you wanna
just
check
just
that out.
say it's not for kids; it's for a
Definitely
mature
it's
audience.
mature. Yeah, definitely mature.
And it will lead to a golden place at the end, but we got to get there, and
Yeah.
it's one heck of a journey.
It's a journey through the muck and the mire.
All of the nasty, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also, it's been a pleasure doing it in the sense that it's another mountain to climb as a comic book creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're climbing it pretty well. It's getting better.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Every issue I do, I feel like I'm killing it more than the last issue. So yeah, I'm very happy and just can't wait to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like there's any more questions. I just put the link in the chat one more time for people.
Thank you.
Check it out, guys. Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
Probably done. I hope I think the interview went good. We had fun as always.
Always,
we
brother.
did. Thank you so much.
I'm going to be back on in about 45 minutes myself to do my normal show. Actually, there's going to be there's going to be something a little extra happening on that. So
we will be watching, if not coming in and trying to bash your show, like coming in and hey, what's up, Rick?
Yeah, and anybody that I'll be having it, so anybody can come on via Discord. So if you want on the on-air chat, if anybody wants to come on and just
I actually know how to do that now.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I figured this way would have been easier for you and possibly by Diana to come on. You know.
Well, this is nice because we wanted to try it too. Now we actually get to see it in function.
It's cool.
And it does work. It's tested now.
Yeah. This is
and you control it a lot better this way too, right? I mean, it's by invite only.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And well, the thing with too is if you do Discord, you can make it so that's invite only. Yeah, you might have a whole bunch of. You might have a whole bunch of say you create a Hero Shack Discord, which I would really suggest you do. So
there is one. I just never use it.
Well, you got to let people know and start doing it. But again, you can create a voice room to bring people on and use your OBS, to control all that. You just got to set up the scenes and all that. That's the major part, Yeah. But then
we will start investigating that. Why am I yawning? It's only 9 o'clock.
Because then it costs you nothing.
Right.
You're paying the $25 a month for StreamYards. When you can be the only better thing is you can get a bunch of places. But if you use Restream, you can do YouTube and you can do at least one Facebook place.
Yeah,
but if you pay your money to Restream, you can get more places to stream to. You can do up to 4 places on Restream.
You can check it out. I'll check it out for sure. So listen, I'm going to head off because you know me. I just got in from work and inhaled dinner. I want to go crash. I'm honest.
Nothing like being honest, babe.
Rick knows, right? I'm honest. I'm like, all right, it's time for me to go, guys. I love it, but I got to get going. So thank you again for having us. Thank you for doing this special little broadcast. You're awesome.
Oh, no problem.
And we will be on tomorrow night if you want to swing by. We'll have the wheel going, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And again, a link to their YouTube channel is in the description if you want to go subscribe to them. They're on Wednesdays and Mondays on YouTube at about 8:30 usually.
Yeah.
For about an
hour.
Yeah,
we bumped it to 8:30 some time ago. We used to be 8 o'clock, but yeah.
And of course, you can see Chris. This one.
Good night.
And of course, you guys can see Chris with me on Saturdays over on Rumble for the Saturday afternoon draw along.
And this week I know what I'm doing, so I'll be there on time.
Yeah, as long as you wake up on time.
Right. Send me, GM me. I'll make sure he's up.
Well, once I got up, I had problems hooking up. I had to figure out the whole thing.
I had some problems with my Discord too, or with this, and I realized I didn't know how to show digitally, but I should have because I already knew how to do it. It's like, how idiotic could I be?
It's all right.
You figured it out. That's what counts.
Yeah. So hey, like I said, it's working out of the bug slowly. Especially as we get more and more people on.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, great.
Okay,
All
so
right,
with that, I
guys.
think we'll say good. Well, I'll let you guys say good night, and I'll
Adios.
say see you in a bit.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night,
Babe, it's
guys.
time to go.